Hey everybody, Coke Noke here, and today we're going to discuss something that I think we all pretty much saw coming. This story comes from the Wall Street Journal. Police wrestle with surge in crime in U.S. cities amid defunding efforts. Law enforcement officials in several large U.S. cities are wrestling with a sharp rise in violent crime amid a national debate over the role of police, calls to reduce police department budgets, and growing fiscal troubles. Some cities are on track to have their most violent summers in years. In Milwaukee, homicides are up 37% so far this year, on pace to break the record of 167 in 1991, which included 16 murders by convicted serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. Homicides so far this year in Chicago are ahead of the pace of 2016, which marked the city's highest tally since 1996. In New York and Los Angeles, which have seen falling numbers of homicides for years, killings this year are up 23% and 11.6%, respectively. Kansas City, Missouri, has recorded 99 killings since January, far outpacing any record for the first 6 months of the year. Police departments already face budget cuts around the U.S., the result of falling tax revenues from pandemic lockdowns. COVID-19 has also made it difficult for officers to safely conduct community outreach, says experts, worsening police-community relations. Community groups acknowledge the crime increase but say more aggressive policing to combat it shouldn't come at the expense of enacting broader reform. From revenue shortfalls and calls to defund police, Art Acevedo, Houston police chief and head of the Major Cities Chiefs Association, said cities are now slashing police budgets without plans in place to reallocate funds or replace functions typically performed by police. Quote, "You don't tear down the building you're living in until you have a new building to move into," he said. Yeah, and this is one of the fundamental problems with defunding the police, because some people use it as a first step to abolish the police for a new system to come in. But the problem is, what are you going to do in the meantime while that new system is in place? It's not like this shit can be built overnight. So there's a graph here, and it's not looking so great. It basically shows the shooting incidents and homicides in terms of the percent change from last year. So this year, there have been nearly 20% more homicides in Philadelphia, nearly 40% more homicides in Milwaukee, and same goes for Chicago. In terms of New York, they have had roughly 45% more shooting incidents. Wow, it's as if you do budget cuts for police departments, it limits their resources to do their job. See, this is the problem with an idea that gets spread through social media that's backed up by the mainstream media, is all these sheltered upper middle class kids will share it thinking it's a good idea, when in reality they haven't even put much thought into what that will do. I agree there needs to be police reform, but defunding the police is not the way to do it. You know what other systems we have that are fucked? Education. We're lagging behind compared to other first world countries when it comes to education. And you don't hear people saying, well, let's make budget cuts for the education system. That will truly solve it. Same with our healthcare system as well. In my opinion, if anything, they need more money to weed out the bad cops and to weed out potential bad cops during training, because policing can be very effective if you have the right cops doing it, and they need more money so they can weed out the bad cops. I really don't get it, man. And also this ACAB stuff. All cops are bad. To me, that's a association fallacy. Their argument is that just because you're in this corrupt system means that you can't be a good cop. Well, what about the cops that do their job correctly? What about the cops who aren't corrupt? Are they just bad cops too, since we're just going to put them under the same umbrella? I think the argument for this type of approach for police reform is emotionally driven, and it's a shame that city governments are giving into it. I think it's completely the wrong move. And I think this idea is really proposed mainly by, again, sheltered upper middle class suburbanites that have probably never had to call the cops in their life, if we're being honest. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this. This is Coke Nook signing off. Thanks for watching.